Hello, I'm here with your March 10th, 2021 tarot using the Linestrider Tarot. We haven't seen these guys in a while, so we're going to give them a chance to have something to say. I have done a pretty good pre-shuffle. These guys need a little bit extra love because they haven't been used in a while. So if you are a tarot reader, particularly if you are a newer one, if you're experienced, you'll probably already know this. But if you haven't used your cards in a while, it is a good idea to give them an extra shuffle if you are going to use them. But another way to also help cleanse their energy is to just go through and make sure that they're all facing the same way, regardless of how you hold your cards or shuffle your cards. It does help to kind of cleanse the energy. I've also got my Palo Santo stick. I had to get a bigger one because it was starting to get hard to light the last piece because it was so small. You can also use any kind of incense, any sage, anything, herbs that you normally burn for cleansing purposes. You can light those up, run the smoke through your cards, whether it's just like this, fan them out, give it a good once over with the smoke. Scent does not matter. It's not advised to use any sprays on them simply because it can distort the imagery. It can distort your cards. It can warp the cards. Shuffling can warp the cards enough as it is, so you don't want to add any water to them. Most of them are not waterproof. These ones do have a bit of a coating on them, but I still don't like to use any sprays on them because it can damage them. So with that, I've been rambling and haven't even shuffled or asked for our messages yet. So we'll get on with that. We are coming up to a new moon. I thought it was on the 11th. It is not. It is on the 13th. Now, depending on exactly when the moon does hit its highest peak and your time zone, that was way too many cards, will depend on whether it is on the 12th or the 13th. And I do have to double check and confirm all of that information. The cards do have a very specific message. We're taking that guy. All right. Bottom of the deck, we have the Queen of Cups. Very loving, nurturing, usually depicted as pregnant because she is birthing something new, born out of love. Could be a creative endeavor. I just want to quickly show you what was underneath the Queen of Cups. 8 of Cups. Moving away from something that is emotional or that we are emotionally attached to. Could mean moving, physically moving places, residences. Not usually a travel card, but it is a movement card. And what are we moving from? Well, two of the cards that we have in the body of this reading are major arcanas, and the first one we saw yesterday in the very first position, and that's the Death card. Card of Scorpio. It is the end of a cycle, and it does include a period of grieving for this because it does seem to be prolonged. With it being a major arcana card, this is something we are feeling very heavily. This is really weighing on us. We feel like the 8 of Cups to me almost feels like an anchor, almost like it's pulling us down kind of energy with this particular Death card as well. This is feeling really heavy. It's not that excitement type of looking forward to the end of the cycle. It is heavy. There is grief involved, as is the ending of all cycles. And it's okay to grieve it, and grieve it in any way that is healthy. Journal it. Do your spells if you're into the witchcraft or Wicca. Pray to whomever if you find comfort If you need to speak to somebody more knowledgeable or professional, please do not hesitate to reach out. Reach out to speak to a friend if you have to. Get that advice. It is important. And for those of you whom are in North America, I'm not sure about any other places, there are things such as grief counseling that you can go to. And if you're feeling grief, whether it is from 40 years ago or just 2 days ago, it's grief. Grief is grief. It's got to be dealt with. Otherwise, it does weigh very heavily on your emotions, and it can feel like you aren't making any progress or really getting anywhere. So do not hesitate to take some sort of action. And the reason why I'm saying don't hesitate to take action, because we have the King of Wands card. It is fire energy. And the King of Wands takes action. He's a doer. He gets things done. And he does so with a gusto and a bravado. It doesn't always necessarily sit well with people, the way that he goes about it. But you got to do you. Try not to trample on anybody else's feelings in the process, because that is bad karma, and karma's getting reset right now. And that's the last thing you want to do, is to set yourself up with bad juju for the next cycle. But don't be afraid to be that king, sitting on your throne with his staff, and take charge of this process. I don't feel that this is going to be an extended, long-term type grief. We have already been in this process of things ending. We're going to be feeling this for a little bit yet, but it's not going to be long term, partly because of the fire energy. But we have the very first card of the tarot, and not just the major arcana card, with the Fool. We're taking a leap of faith into something new, something unknown. We don't know where we're going, where we're landing, how we're doing it. We're only taking the things that we need, whether it's physical or emotional, and we're letting it go. And we are taking that leap into something new. And we're doing so with a bit of gusto and bravado, and we're doing this with flair. So even though we do have a little bit of heavier energy with the Death card, still for, I'm gonna say, until the spring equinox, whenever this big shift happens, whether it is individual, and that happens much sooner than the spring equinox, I do really feel that this week, after we have the time change for those of you who do daylight savings time, for us, where I live, that's happening on Sunday, this upcoming Sunday, with the new moon. And the following week, we have the spring equinox with the start of Aries season, which is also fire energy. So we do have a lot coming up in the next week and a half to 2 weeks. And this is when we are starting to get into those new cycles. So if you do have something that's weighing heavy on you and feeling like it's dragging you down, now's the time to let that stuff go, because we've got new beginnings really quickly approaching. And this is really big energy of the ending and the brand new cycle coming in. So we want to be ready. We want to get ready to go and be at our best. And we've got more major arcana here. Okay, just to show you real quick. Judgment, call to take action. Emperor, taking charge, being disciplined. We've got the Tower, something shaking our foundations. We've got 5 of Wands, 2 of Cups, 8 of Cups. 5 of Wands is feeling conflicted about it. Yeah, you know what? It is conflicting to maybe make that decision to take a leap into something new. You could be fighting with yourself. 2 of Cups, do it with passion. Maybe you're helping, or you're getting the help from somebody else. It's a partnership. 8 of Wands, very fast moving energy. And that just all ties in to once we start rolling into this new cycle, it's rolling very quickly and there's not going to be any stopping it. So you want to be ready for when it comes in. So I'm going to leave it here for your Wednesday, March 10th, and I will talk to you tomorrow.